Of MNS. We head to the showgrounds now. On Saturday night, Sligo Rovers were home to Cork City. Paul Cook still at the helm at Sligo despite a minor close season hiatus, and Paul Doolan the new man in the City dugout. John Kenny has this report.
After all the problems off the pitch for both clubs during the close season, it was finally the chance for both sets of players from Sligo and Cork to get back playing as they met at the showgrounds on Saturday night. Difficult windy conditions for both teams, and Cork looked livelier in the opening few minutes. Danny Murphy up from the back saw his shot skid by Richard Brush's left-hand post. Sligo had chances themselves. There were shouts for a penalty when the ball appeared to hit Neil Horgan. The referee Richie Winter waved play on, and Owen Morrissey almost capitalised on Dan Connor's weak punch. The wind played its part in this opportunity for Sean Holmes. The ball held up on the night air before Holmes cracked in a shot which flew just wide. This was the most contentious moment of the half. Good work on the right-hand side by Roman Bocco. His deflected cross was met by Conor O'Grady and it spilled into the path of Rafael Cotaro. But his effort was ruled offside. A very marginal decision, it appeared, by the assistant referee, and it was 0-0 at the break. Cork were again the brighter sides after the break. Pat Sullivan's high ball was met by Dan Murray, but Gavin Pearce, standing on the line, somehow managed to get it away to safety. Sligo had a wonderful opportunity to open the scoring just moments later. Holmes dug out a cross, and Cotaro, standing at the back post unmarked, won't have a better chance all season. The game appeared to be petering out to a 0-0 draw. With 4 minutes from time, Cork struck. Sean Holmes dispossessed. Pat Sullivan supplied the cross, which wasn't dealt with by the Sligo defence, and Billy Dennehy was on hand to slam the ball home to give the visitors the lead. But the elements played their part in Sligo's late equaliser. Dan Murray totally misjudged this long ball out of defence, which allowed Bocco to set up Stephen Parkhouse, and despite claims for a handball, he calmly tucked home the equaliser a minute from time. All the goal action squeezed into the last 5 minutes. 2 goals, a 1-1 draw. A fair result at the showgrounds.
Probably started a bit tentatively and a bit nervously in the first 15 or 20 minutes, but I thought after that we were probably a better team for long periods of the game and created a lot of good chances, but unfortunately we didn't take them, and then Cork got a goal on the break, and thankfully Parky got a goal in his debut, and I suppose we would have taken a point before the game, even though we're a bit disappointed we didn't win, you know.
Never looked for a draw, and I mean that's probably with any team that I've managed. But I think when you're 3 minutes away or 2 minutes away from a win, you'd never settle for a draw, would you? You know. But I think difficult place to come, as I said, but you know, we'll have to get on.
I've made a new thing that I'm not getting involved in contentious decisions with referees, so it was offside.
Sligo had picked up just 1 point from their opening 2 league games and faced the St Pat's side that had registered an excellent win in Cork last time out. And it was the visitors who came closest to open the scoring, with Alan Coley's free kick in the 4th minute just wide of Richard Brush's right-hand post. St Pat's had most of the play in the early stages of the half. Gary Dempsey guilty of a fresh air chance at the edge of the area. However, he recomposed himself to set up Mark Leach, whose dipping shot was straight at Richard Brush. Pats continued to press, and Dara Ryan's cross was headed on by Leach, but Dempsey's shot was into the turf, which took the sting out of the chance. Brush was quick to spot that Owen Morrison was all alone, and finding space in front of him, advanced deep into the St Pat's half of the field. Morrison then sent Jamie Harris one way and then the next, but the finish was straight at Gary Rogers. Morrison then set up a chance for the overlapping Sean Holmes. Holmes nicked it by the defender, and his cross eventually fell to the feet of Roman Bocco, but he couldn't find the target. Rogers was called on again shortly afterwards as Holmes' cross went right across the St Pat's rearguard and picked out Brian Cash lurking at the far post. But the visitors' netminder was alert to the danger before giving his defenders an earful. The only goal of the game arrived just after the half-hour mark. Jamie Harris's long ball out of defence. Jason Gavin had 2 cracks at it, and Brush could only parry the shot into the path of Leach, who opened the scoring for the Dubliners to leave it 1-0 at the break. The game deteriorated somewhat after the break, attacking opportunities in the second half limited. Bocco, with this effort, couldn't keep a shot down. Rafael Guittaro had another chance. Stephen Parkhouse put him in. Guittaro had the shot, but Rogers wasn't really tested. Time was running out for Sligo, and in injury time, Holmes flung over a corner. Bocco was bravest, but his header went wide, and so too went Sligo's chances of an equaliser. No win in 3 now for Rovers, but St Pat's have well and truly put their opening night hammering by Galway behind them.
We played Galway, we expected to go out and win, didn't quite go like that. Great result down in Cork, win 1-0, you know, and it's just about following up really at a hard fought victory down here, you know. Sligo are a good side, you know to pass the ball about, but we had to match them with a work rate, and that's what we did.
Delighted with 2 clean sheets back to back. We still got plenty to work on. We're by no means the finished article, but we're going in the right direction, so that's very positive.
You know, there's going to be a lot of hard work ahead for us this season, but like I've just explained to the lads, that's what it is, hard work. It's hard work for everyone. You know, when you go away, you regroup. You shouldn't like getting beat. I don't think we do. It should hurt, but we'll look forward to playing Galway next week and hopefully getting our season underway.
Yeah.
A Connacht showdown between two sides who've made rather surprising starts. Galway bowling along nicely, top of the table. Sligo Rovers stuttering with just 1 point from 3 games to date. Sligo have lost 2 of their 3 played, and the side that many felt played the best football last season simply haven't hit the ground running. A chance for them tonight to really kick-start their season, despite the absence of Bocco and Guittaro, which means that they're rather lacking pace up front, but Sean Doherty's return will give them an added dimension. Here's Vinny Fardy, who's already scored twice this season for Galway United. Gavin Pearce just hoisting it long downfield. Parkhouse coming from an offside position, so he couldn't involve himself in the play. Very important for Galway once again to start well as Ryan tidies up, and that's Alan Kane from Obbie Knockmoy, playing against his old side this evening. Galway on the attack now. It's with Shane Fitzgerald in that wide right position. Angle ball, or chance for Fardy, but well intercepted by Gavin Pearce. Alert defending. The rain and hail has that given way, but it remains very, very windy. Here's the chance for Galway United, and Richard Brush had to readjust his footing, and Galway very close to breaking the deadlock. Michael McGrath with an effort skidding off the surface, and Richard Brush happy just to help it over the crossbar.
Yeah, brilliant strike, brilliant save in the end.
Now, can they deliver from the wide right position off the body of Pirla Davern? And Sligo Rovers will have another corner kick here. Gavin Pearce is up from the back. The corner goes short now. Let's see, can Sligo do something with it here? Just knocked towards the back post, kept alive, and hooped away by Vinny Fardy. Here's Ryan for Sligo Rovers. Angle ball. Once again, the ball gets the pounce here. Guthrie is there to cut it out for Galway United, and Sligo Rovers enjoying a decent spell. This is Sean Doherty with the corner kick. Oh, it's a dangerous one to deal with, and well, it was Alan Kane who got an effort goalwards. Barry Ryan did really well just to get something on it initially, and it fell to Alan Kane, and Galway just a shade fortunate to survive.
There we go, it's the first time that they got past the front post, and it causes all sorts of problems. Barry Ryan has flapped it because it's too dangerous.
Oh, he showed far too much of it to Vinny Fardy, and Derek O'Brien is away, and Sligo could be opened up here. Derek O'Brien running at Gavin Pearce, drilled the shot across the face of goal, and just a whisker wide.
Again, what I'd be saying is a centre forward, they've got to be in on top of that. They know it's going to come there. Neither of them got in there.
Put out by Sean Kelly. Oh, and Venture's got himself into all sorts of bother. Vinny Fardy could be in here. Brush outside his penalty area. Well, the Galway fans are appealing for something here, and there's a red card. for Danny Ventra. Well, now the complexion of this game may well have turned. 5 in the Sligo wall. It's going to be Breen to blast it. Not a bad effort. Deflected away. O'Brien back into the danger zone. Almost an own goal. The Galway United are making a change. And Edwards is on. Seamus Keneally, the right back, is off. Sligo clear their lines. McTiernan will have to try and hold it up, but he failed to do so. Here's Davern. Free kick awarded to Galway United. It's Cian McBride drilling it goalwards, and just a fraction wide. Worth a crack. Here's Fardy with the layoff. Now McBride. And a chance for Cook. Well held by Richard Brush. Well struck effort. And Brush doing well to make it stick. Here's Ryan once again. Rather untidy. Sligo coughing up possession, and Gavin Pearce has conceded a free kick and a yellow card. And he's absolutely furious. Well, in fact, the yellow card has been dished out in the direction of the Galway player, Declan Edwards, the 19-year-old from Dublin, presumably for simulation. Sligo clearing their lines, but not convincingly, only as far as Sean Kelly. Round the corner ball from Davern. Here is Edwards, trying to winkle away through. And now, well, he's caught Ryan, and he could be in real trouble here. It's a second red card, and the second half substitute for Galway United. Declan Edwards picks up his second yellow card of the evening, and he is off. And the full-time whistle sounds at Turrinan Park. A point apiece. Sligo head back up the N17 with a point in the bag. 2 players sent off, Danny Ventra of Sligo Rovers, and late on Declan Edwards of Galway United. It's a point for Paul Cookin for Sligo Rovers. It has ended 0-0 here at Turrinan Park.
We deserve to have 8 points on the board, you know. We are difficult to break down, you know, but we also look at goal threat, and unfortunately we didn't tonight for one reason or another. But you know, we'll get back on the training ground Monday, we'll work hard, and we'll try and put that right.
I thought it was, and we've seen it again, it's not a good decision to send Danny Ventry off. I think we all know that. Thankfully, in my opinion, the game was heading for a draw. The game finished a draw. So you would, maybe if you get beat 1-0, you wouldn't be so happy. I don't think, you know, I think when the referee looks at it, he will agree that, you know, he has got it wrong.
Oops. Come on. Go back on. Here we go.
Dundalk came into Saturday evening's match at Sligo Rovers hoping to bounce back from their previous defeat to St Pat's at Richmond Park, but the visitors were under pressure early on. Owen Morrison's quick free kick in the 3rd minute released Romuald Boko, but his shot was deflected wide by Dundalk keeper Chris Benyon. Morrison was again involved in Sligo's second move, his cross from the right, and Rafael Quintaro with a spectacular volley attempt. Benyon again though with the save. Dundalk midfielder Chris Turner led the charge back into the game. Lovely footwork before this left-footed shot smacked the woodwork. Not bad from his weaker side. Dundalk's goal eventually came. Darren Manstrom will claim it, but the assist must go to Steve Feeney. Not the prettiest, but they all count, and Dundalk with the lead at half-time. Sligo tried to force their way back in after the break. Feeney getting on the end of Quintaro's cross. The header, though, going over. Sligo's chances were few and far between at this stage, and Dundalk kept fighting for a second goal. Harpo Singh's diving header just going the wrong side of the post after a great cross. The second eventually did come. Singh's free kick from the left, finding Liam Burns. 2-0 Dundalk. Ten minutes later, and it was 3. Chris Turner getting his name on the score sheet after Manstrom's control and beautiful layoff. The finish with the right foot. But while Dundalk fans were still celebrating, Cretaro managed to pull one back for Sligo. Neat work down the left, and the finish not too bad either. And it could have been a nervy final few moments if Morrison had converted a late penalty. Sean Kelly guilty of fouling Cretaro in the 88th minute. The spot kick though blazed over the top of the bar. So a comfortable enough win from Dundalk in the end. Sligo's old boys Manstrom, Burns and Turner returning to haunt their former club at the Showgrounds. 3-1 the final score.
I mean, it's always glad to get a win, especially when we haven't got many wins on the boards, and to come up to Sligo, which is a difficult place for most teams. Very happy with the 3 points.
It was a great win. It was a result we needed tonight, and it pulls us back up the table, so it was a good 3 points.
Tonight we had enough to beat Dundalk, in my opinion, but when you give teams stupid goals, you will not win football games. And at the minute we're leaking goals that aren't good enough. We're not making teams work hard enough to score a goal, and then we're making life more difficult for ourselves because you've got to score a lot to win. You know, it's at the minute, you know, a win seems a million miles away for us.
The first win of the season for Sligo Rovers in front of a crowd of just 300. Like Byrne, Rafael Cretaro struck on the double. The first after just 4 minutes of play. But Bray have been surprising many this season and drew level on 29. Dane Massey's deliveries have been first class. Paul Byrne with his second in a week after his winner against Pats. 2 minutes after the restart, Cretaro struck again. Bray uncharacteristically sloppy at the back. Sligo's first home point since a draw in week 1 against Cork City.
Sligo Rovers come here to this venue where they haven't won in the league since October 1999. For this evening's match, it's a call for Eddie McCallion to the colours for Derry City for the first time this season, with Stephen Gray suspended after being sent off at St Patrick's Athletic on Tuesday night. There's a reshuffle in the Derry City defence. Away we go then, Sligo Rovers kicking off. Straight away it's back to Sean Holmes, one of 4 former Derry City players in the Sligo lineup. Over the head of McCallion for the on-running Boko. Oh, he got a corner out of it, well done. So up from the back goes Pearce. And there's the corner. And it's still there for Sligo. Just a chance for Boko. Saved by Doherty's feet. In from Holmes and cleared away. Chance here for Stewart. Good save by Brush. Carney goes in and the referee is asked by Derry for a penalty and he says no. Sligo Rovers got away with that. Swung in by Carney. Delaney goes up off the top of the bar. McGlynn. Carney. And Downey goes, that's surely a penalty. Challenged by Danny Ventre, tackle from behind, and the Derry City players protest and the referee waves them away. Morrow challenging there. Martin couldn't bring it under control. Oh, good ball through for Boko. Well played in by Morrison. It's Boko, and he's done it. And there's his first goal for Sligo Rovers from the Benin international striker. Wonderful ball for him from Owen Morrison, the former Derry City player. They timed the run superbly. and Bocco is in to open his account. Oh, here's a chance. Oh, what an equaliser! What a fabulous equaliser within a minute from Gareth McGlynn.
Lovely little turn here, Sammy Morrow. Looks, not even looking up, tick out the back post. McGlynn, first time, great finish.
Morrow. Determination there. O'Grady, and now a chance for Curtaro. On again for O'Grady. Fine save. That'll run for a corner. Well, that was a great breakout by Sligo Rovers. And here's Sligo Rovers' corner. It's come back off Curtaro. And it might yet come out to Ryan. It did! It's off the post! Richie Ryan. And McCallion clears it, and Morrow helps it on its way. Derry didn't quite clear it. Richie Ryan had a free shot at goal and struck the upright. Out to McGlynn, and it was deflected, and it's a corner. And this, for the statisticians, is Derry City's 11th of the game. It tells its own story in terms of the pressure they've been exerting, but they haven't really managed to create the chances since half-time. There's the corner, and it's off the captain O'Grady and tipped over by Brush.
O'Grady's got a little shoulder on it. There it is. I think it's going over anyway, but he's made sure, and he's got a good hand on that to tip it over.
Minute and a half of the regulation time to go. McChrystal, firm header away by O'Grady, back again by Delaney. Oh, a chance here. Curtaro got the bounce there. It's Curtaro against the keeper. Curtaro, yes! And Rafa Curtaro makes it 4 goals in 3 games, and that surely sees Sligo Rovers into orbit.
Again, it's a poor clearance by Clive Delaney. I mean, it's been picked up by Owen Tuppy. He's come on. You know, Curtaro, we know the boy can finish. And it's opened up the whole league.
The whistle can't be far away. Derry City's last attack. There is the final whistle. Sligo Rovers have had their first victory at the Brandywell in 10 years. And their climb away from the foot of the table continues with 6 points out of the last possible 6. First defeat of the season for Derry City, who've gone down when really they should have put themselves in a position to win it.
We're starting to play a bit of football that we've been playing last year, and you know, it's hard work. You know, teams are going to come to the Brandywell and aren't going to come out with 3 points. You know, we're going to run away now and with all 3 points, and we're delighted with it.
Football's a funny game. You know, we're delighted with the result tonight. You know, I can't speak highly enough of my players.
Following wins against Bray Wanderers and Derry City, Sligo were unchanged against the champions, for whom Ken O'Man and Gary Deegan returned. It was a tight match with few clear-cut chances. Sligo goalkeeper Richard Brush had to be sharp early on. The conditions were good, but chances were at a premium. Owen Morrison's free kick had Glenn Crowe in a spin. His header could have gone anywhere. Bo's a little fortunate there. Paul Cook's side have improved in recent weeks, but the Dublin side went close. Gary Deegan bursting forward in his volley, well saved by Brush, one of the league's best goalkeepers. Coming into this game, Bows had only conceded 2 goals in their 7 games, but Romo Bocco's wonderful movement gave him the chance, the header flashing wide. The man from Benin is small, but his ability in the air is excellent, and Brian Murphy made a smart save to keep Bows on terms. Joseph N'Do's clever passing almost created an opening for Deegan. His shot blocked by Gavin Pearce. Last season, Bows beat Sligo 3 times on their way to the title, so this result is a mini setback. Substitute Killian Brennan's free kick just too high. Brush, though, had it covered. At the death, Brennan was involved again. He turned Pearce, and Alan Keane's tackle led to cries for a penalty, turned down by referee Derek Tomney. It would have been harsh for either side to lose what was a very hard-fought, close contest. So Bows remain top, following their 6th clean sheet in 8 games, while for Sligo it's 7 points from the last 3 matches.
Yeah, you know, we've always had the confidence. It obviously wasn't clicking for us at the very start of the season. We were conceding sloppy goals and stuff. But, you know, we've tightened up at the back a bit, and we always think we can score. We've got Rafa who's on forward front, Bocco will just run endlessly for you. So if we keep defending how we do, you know, we're always going to nick a goal, as you seen last week with Derry.
I think it's very much a point gain, because we probably first half particularly I thought Sligo were excellent and it caused us a lot of problems, and we could have went in 2 or 3 goals down, and you know, we showed a bit of character we have. Second half was a bit more pleasing from our point of view. We kept the ball a bit better and we created a few chances, but it's not going to be easy coming here for anybody this season. They're a good side and they've got some really good players, and it's a hard place to play, you know, and the crowd get behind them. So I think it's a point gain for us, to be honest.
Do you know, this is a very difficult competitive league. There's a lot of teams in it that, in my opinion, there's not much in it between them. Again, they're as strong as it comes, you know, they're very good. Do you know, and every point you pick up in the league's a bonus. To play against Derry and Bows and pick up 4 points for us is magnificent, and it's all due to the players, their attitude and their application.
Well, we'll take
A 0-0 draw at United Park in a game noteworthy for the sending off of 2 Sligo Rovers players and the late dismissal of manager Paul Cook. Drogheda is still searching for the first win of the season, had an early scare as Sligo's Gavin Pearce missed the target with only the keeper to beat. United keeper Steve Williams was called into action not long after, as Alan Keane had a shot straight into Williams' midriff. It was a wide open game at United Park, and Kotaro had a decent game, getting past Conor Kenna before getting to the edge of the area, but a shot just missed the target. Drogheda's first rate opportunity fell to James Chambers, who cracked in a half volley that was deflected just wide of Richard Brush's right hand post. Brush none too happy with his defenders. The chances continued. Roman Bocco got into the box and Owen Thorpe should really have scored. Instead, Williams saved with his feet. This was the best move of the game, and Alan Keane was pretty much at the heart of an excellent build-up play by the visitors. It was Bocco's cross finding Thorpe, and Kotaro just missed with the flick close in. It would have been a wonderful goal had Kotaro scored. David O'Connor's corner caused all sorts of consternation in the Sligo defence. Gavin Whelan's shot was blocked and it fell back to O'Connor, whose left-footed shot from cross invaded the 2 Drogheda players standing on the 6-yard line. Bocco's only scored once for Rovers this season, and the Benin international had an excellent opportunity to add to that tally, but he dragged a shot wide. And this was the first of the night's sendings off. Sligo captain Danny Ventura went in late on Jamie Duffy, right in front of his own supporters. Referee Richie Winter produced a straight red card for Ventura, and then a yellow for Owen Morrison for dissent. Despite being down to 10 men, Sligo continued to create chances in the second period. Kotaro seemed certain to break the deadlock, only for a last-ditch tackle by Robert Clark, which denied the Sligo striker. Again, Kotaro was at the heart of this Sligo attack. His left-footed cross fell kindly for Morrison, who was denied by Ian Ryan's block. The ball once again fell to Kotaro, who tried to lift the ball over David O'Connor, but the Sligo man's claims for a penalty fell on deaf ears. Judge this for yourself. Drogheda had their own claims for a penalty when Whelan's header appeared to strike the hand of Richie Ryan. On closer inspection, it appears Ryan didn't handle the ball. Remember Morrison's yellow for dissent from the first half? Well, it came back to haunt him as he went in late on Alan McNally. Referee Winter produced a second yellow, and Rovers were forced to finish the game with just 9 players. Despite their numerical superiority, Drogheda couldn't break down Rovers in the remaining minutes, and McNally's shot was the closest they came. The sendings off hadn't finished, however. Following a consultation with the 4th official, Rovers manager Paul Cook joined Ventura and Morrison as he was sent off in injury time. No goals, 0-0 the final score. Drogheda now with just 3 points from their opening games are 5 points behind Bray at the bottom of the table. Sligo themselves have 10 points to Bray's 8 after the opening 9 games of the season.
good bunch of lads there. It's just that we've been unlucky through injuries and different things, but when we get up, we're just unlucky more so. We've a few lads come back, a few strikers, you see. There's a 19-year-old playing up front and a winger playing up front, that we need to get everyone back fit and we'll give it a go then. But there's a lot better squad this year than I was involved with UCD anyway, last year.
We've done one lap of 4 basically, so we've a long way to go. We'll need to get fitter, we need to get stronger as the season progresses. I think that's what will happen us. But we've played everybody now. We've had a good intro into the league, albeit, as I said, disappointing from a results point of view. But we need to now maybe really push on and start maximising our home performances and try and pick stuff up at home. But we've got to get that first win. It's a monkey that we need to get off our back. And the players are bitterly disappointed that in every game that we've been falling short. We haven't fallen short by an awful lot.
I'm not getting onto a crusade about them. They don't cost you games, they don't win you games. But unfortunately, until we get a level playing field of what's right and wrong, we're all going to have problems. Managers end up with 4 games banned in the stands. Well, I won't be going in the stand. I will be appealing this. I haven't swore, I haven't abused the referee. I've questioned his decisions. Well, on a night when you end up with 9 men, I'm sure you're allowed to question some decisions.
Such are the problems with injuries and suspensions. Sligo Rovers manager Paul Cook found himself with just 3 substitutes on the bench as his side faced Cork City unbeaten in their last 7 after turning around an indifferent start to Paul Doolan's reign. On a bright sunny evening at Turner's Cross, it was Sligo who had the first real chance. Roman Bucker's shot, though, pretty much straight at City keeper Dan Connor. These sides met on the opening day of the season and they played out a 1-1 draw at the showgrounds. But City are a better side now since that draw. Pat Sullivan set up Joe Gamble, who side-footed over. Indeed, City got plenty of room down the right in the opening half. Colin Healy's cross was headed into Shane Duggan's path, but he too failed to find the target, left-footed from the edge of the area. Chances were at a premium in the opening 45. Sligo fullback Alan Keane got to the byline, and his cross caused all sorts of problems for the City defence. In the end, though, Steve Feeney's shot was blocked away to safety and it remained scoreless at the break. A fine City move almost produced the opener. Dennis Bean set up Duggan, whose shot squirmed under Richard Brush, but he was grateful for an alert Gavin Pearce, who was on hand to clear the danger. City kept up the pressure. Sullivan fed substitute Gunter Silagalis. Duggan dummied, and Colin Healy's shot ricocheted away off a defender's foot. But the pressure finally told on 68 minutes. Sullivan was fouled, but the play was allowed to go on, and Healy's cross was neatly headed in by the former Sligo player, Fadaran Kudazovic. Indeed, it was the only goal of the night. City kept pace with Bohemians, and delight for Kudazovic against his former club. Sligo, however, responded to the Cork goal and could well have equalised. Rafael Cataro's cross wasn't dealt with by Greg O'Halloran, and Dan Connor saved a stinging shot by Brian Cash, who then sent the rebound over. Late on, Cretaro tried to dink one over the City wall, but Connor's been around too long to be fooled by that, and he easily pushed over to keep City ahead. In the end, a hard-fought 1-0 win for City, who remained 3 points off the top and who stretched their unbeaten run to 8 as Sligo fell to the first defeat in 5.
Of course, the European place is a sort of our minimum aim, and hopefully we can stay up in the first, second spot as long as we can, and hopefully, obviously, Bows are doing well. I think we'll give them a good push for their money this season.
We had a good go tonight. Lads worked tremendously hard. It's a very difficult place to come Cork and get anything out of any game. They're a very strong football team. They've got lots of good players, and we've done very well. We were in the game for a long time without ever, threatening to go and win it. And it's disappointing to come away with a 1-0, but that's football.
We've had a very, very good run, of 6 wins and a draw, in our last few games. And we were just saying to ourselves again, it was another good chance. We knew it wouldn't be easy. I think the first half, to be fair, they had a bit, we had a bit, it didn't really get going, but I felt in the second half that we were very good again.
Shamrock Rovers captain Shane Robinson and top scorer Gary Twigg returned to the Hoops starting lineup against Sligo Rovers at the showgrounds on Friday night. There were early chances for both sides. Some neat touches by the Hoops left Robinson with a chance for a shot. Richard Brush with a decent save. And then Owen Morrison's free kick evaded everyone in the box, but just went wide of the target. The visitors did open the scoring on 24 minutes though. Stephen Bradley doing well to direct the ball back across the goal. Padraig Amond on hand to knock it home. Minutes later, and that lead was doubled. Gary Trigg with a beautiful little flick. Amond firing the shot past Brush in the bottom corner for his and Rovers' second. Sligo were struggling for chances in the second half. This Morrison free kick never on target. And Shamrock Rovers should have gone 3 up when some sloppy defending put Robinson through on goal. Amond's finish though, letting him down, and Brush with an easy save. Sligo kept pressing to get back into the match, but they just couldn't break the hoops down at the back. And it wasn't long before Rovers had a chance to finish the game off. Robinson fouled by O'Grady inside the box. Referee Neil Doyle, no hesitation, pointing to the spot. And Robinson sending Brush the wrong way for 3-0. Sligo battled hard and they kept fighting to get off the mark. Romuald Boko this time firing wide of the target. And the home side's misery was compounded when captain Conor O'Grady was given his marching orders. This kick out of Patrick Flynn right in front of the referee. Not a good night for the Sligo skipper. There was a late glimmer of hope when Sligo were awarded a penalty. Parkhouse's strike was brilliantly saved by Barry Murphy in Shamrock Rovers' goal. Final chance of the night fell to the hoops. Decent header back, but Stephen Rice just couldn't keep his shot down. So a comfortable 3-0 win for Shamrock Rovers. That moves them to within 5 points of the leaders.
We had to play, you know, according to the game. Like, I wouldn't say it's the best we played all year, but you know, it's to come to Sligo. It's a really tough place to come. One of the lads just said there, it's a long time since Rovers have won here, but to come and win as convincingly as we did was what we need, especially after last week's result.
We'll play Bohemians next week and we'll look for 3 points there. We'll not make any rash statements, you know. It was important we got a win after a disappointing result at home to Bray, so we'll look to see if we can put another wee run together, and we'll not get carried away with any title talk or anything like that.
I think if you're second from bottom and you're not concerned, you're a bit like naive. You know, we're second from bottom of the league for the reason. It's obviously because we haven't got enough points. It's something that we will address and try and do our best. You know, but I'd rather speak about tonight's performance and the game tonight. I thought Shamrock Rovers were excellent from the first minute to the end. Looked a very good side and a strong side, and deserved the 3 points.
We'll talk.
Difficult times for both of these clubs, Pats and Rovers each coming off the back of 3-0 home defeats. And yet, despite the tension, this was a good and surprisingly open game of football. Sligo in black had their chances, this free kick testing Gary Rogers. Paul Cook not too excited yet. St Patrick's Athletic, under increasing pressure recently, played some good stuff over the 90 minutes. And the captain's armband, if anything, added something to Mark Quigley's game. A little later on, and more good build-up from Pats. And the same Mark Quigley found himself in space, and he probably had more time than he realised as his snapshot flashed over. Further pressure from Pats as Enda Stevens' floated free caused some concern for Sligo. But no joy for Jeff. But the breakthrough, when it arrived, came from an unlikely source, as Pats kept the ball alive on the edge of the Sligo area. Eventually, Gareth O'Connor's effort went past Ryan Guy and fooled Richard Brush before going all the way to the net for O'Connor's first ever goal for the Saints. The lead, though, didn't last long. Sean Holmes' cross met by the head of Gavin Pearce. Pat's done by a set piece once again. Chasing the game, Ryan Guy tried an effort from the edge of the box. The walking wounded for Pats and Keith Fahey appreciating the chance. The injured and suspended were soon on their feet, though. Even Keith Fahey might feel a bit envious of this. Alan Cawley delivering a finish of sublime grace to the top right-hand corner. Watch this. Amazing stuff. Like Keith's last season, this has surely got to be a contender for goal of the season, and Cawley's delight was justified. However, his yellow card for removing the shirt was inevitable, nothing that referee Derek Tomney could do about it, although he too, I'm sure, appreciated the strike. After so many losses for Pats this season, holding on to the lead should surely have been the priority, but Sligo showed enough to suggest they were still in it. And in the final minute of normal time, Pats yet again failed to defend a set piece. A long, hopeful ball from inside their own half. No real danger, you would have said, but Alan Keane got the decisive touch to give Sligo a share of the spoils. Paul Pesky-Solido's last involvement in League of Ireland, as the Pats assistant resigned after the game, and the crisis at Richmond gets deeper.
We wanted to be a lot higher up the table than we are at the moment, but everyone's pulling in the right direction and we're all working really hard, and I think people would have seen that on the pitch tonight. Everyone gave their all and 100%, and we're right behind the manager and things like that, you know, so we fully believe things will turn for us, so hopefully if we keep working hard like that, and we might be able to pick up a few more results.
I'm not really into that, people suggesting you're in false positions. I think the league doesn't tell lies, mate. I think the best teams are at the top and the worst are at the bottom, and we'll work hard to move our way up the table.
I'm not happy. I haven't come here to avoid relegation. I've come here to be challenging for things. Now, the level of performance tonight gives me great faith in going forward.
Keith, you... The Western Derby at the Showgrounds on Saturday evening as Sligo took on near neighbours Galway, their second league meeting of the season after a 0-0 draw at Terryland back in March. Galway had the first real opportunity as Jay O'Shea played in Vinnie Farty, whose shot was saved by Richard Brush. But the first goal wasn't long in coming. 7 minutes in, Owen Morrison's corner fan Sean Holmes, whose initial shot was blocked, but Holmes fired home the rebound. The first goal for the club from the former Derry and Finn Harps player. Indeed, Holmes almost repeated the dose on the half hour. His shot again blocked, falling to Richie Ryan, who was tripped in the area by Keane McBrien. And the referee decided to award the home side a penalty, which was converted with aplomb by Alan Keane, the former Galway player, converting his third goal in the last 4 games. Before the break, John Russell saw yellow for this challenge. It looked a hard decision on first view, and the replay appears to show Russell making contact with the ball. Nevertheless, Russell was shown the yellow card, and Sligo went to the half 2-0 up. Galway tried to get back into the game, and just before the hour mark, O'Shea's shot was brilliantly saved by Brush. Sligo could well have gone 3-0 up, however, as Roman Bocco set up Ryan for a shot, but Barry Ryan saved well in the Galway goal. Galway's woes were compounded late on when Russell was shown a second yellow and then a red for a late challenge. Galway manager Ian Foster less than pleased with the red card, but Russell had to go. In the end, a 2-0 win for Sligo, a win that lifts them to 7th above Dundalk on goal difference.
We needed to win tonight because they were, I don't know how many points they're ahead of us. We needed to start closing in, otherwise get out of that bottom 3 because you don't want to get stuck down there.
Yeah, it's a pleasing result. It's nice to keep another clean sheet. As I say, I think after we got the 2 goals, we probably sat back a wee bit, but it's only natural. But delighted with the result.
It's difficult when you go 2 goals down so early in a game. Having said that, the second goals An awful decision from the referee. It's never been a penalty. Having said that, you know, he doubles it up by sending one of my players off for 2 honest challenges, never bookings. I think if my player has to serve a 1-match suspension next week, then so should the referee.
Ordinarily, you might think that playing at home would be a big advantage, especially in a potential relegation dogfight like this. But Dundalk had lost 4 out of 6 at Oriel Park before welcoming Sligo Rovers. Still, Chris Turner and then Sean Kelly forced fine early saves from Richard Brush. Sligo had some early chances of their own. Sean Holmes nearly caught this one right. The Sligo boys thought they might have had a penalty too when Stephen Feeney went tumbling under the challenge of Thomas Heary. The assistant waved his flag for a free kick, but Heary may have been a little lucky. Holmes's kick was pushed by Chris Benyon into Gavin Pearce, but he got away with it. The host probably shaded the first half in terms of performance, and when Rowe and Kelly combined, Pearce did brilliantly to put off Darren Mansaram. A little hope maybe for the home fans to cling to. And the big striker gave them some more. Again, Rowe involved. Mansaram actually shaved the outside of the post. But the hosts were undone by a piece of magic in first half stoppage time. Alan Keane making it 3 goals in 3 games. But watch out for the reaction of his manager on the bench. Strike did impress everybody else though. So Dundalk began their quest for a leveller in the second half, and Rowe went close to getting it. The visiting support remained confident. But there may have been a few wobbles when Mansaram dived and found the post again. Maybe it just wasn't his night. It was then Dundalk's turn to shout for a penalty when Kelly was stopped in his tracks by Danny Ventry. Instead, they got an indirect free kick, apparently for impeding his progress. That's obstruction to you and me. And despite a couple of near chances coming from it, no one could actually convert. Mansaram continued to make a nuisance of himself, and Harpal Singh very nearly made his overhit pass work. So, all Dundalk so far, but they hadn't made their pressure count. Sligo, on the other hand, only needed 2 shots on target the entire game. Brian Cash to Conor O'Grady, game over. It didn't stop the home side continuing to look for their breakthrough. But as Mansaram and then Kelly found out, it just wasn't going to happen. The supporters had seen enough, but those leaving early couldn't appreciate the obvious effort of their players, even at 2 goals down. Declan O'Brien had their final effort of the night. Boos came at the final whistle for a 2-0 defeat for Dundalk, but it wasn't for a lack of trying. Things looking up for Sligo.
At the start of the season, we're leaking too many soft goals and stuff like that. So, lucky enough, we've stopped that, and we're starting to move up the table with wins.
We rode our luck at times. I thought we scored a couple of good goals. Do you know, at the bottom, it's you know, when you're in these positions, it's a scrap. It's hard work. Do you know, and I thought tonight our lads worked that hard that we deserve something out the game.
I don't think anybody in the football club is panicking. You know, all along our task was to stay in the division. I think that, you know, now people realise how difficult it is. You know, and Sligo Rovers, you know, have been in this division now for 3 seasons, and you can see that they have that wee bit of seasoned premiership about them.
Tony. Bray Wanderers were looking for their first win in 5 when they welcomed Sligo Rovers to the Carlisle grounds. A 36th minute opener from Rafael Coutaro didn't make that quest look likely to be fulfilled. Still, things began to look up straight away. 70 seconds after falling behind, Darragh Doyle's shot hit off Danny Ventry's head on its way to the net. They all count 1-1. Bray were in front 10 minutes into the second half, and a move started with Chris O'Connor's kick. The ball eventually made its way to Gareth Coughlin, and the 19-year-old made no mistake to give his side the advantage. Things got even sweeter for the hosts when Gary McCabe was bundled over by Ventry, and the referee pointed to the spot. McCabe stepped up to take it himself, making it 3 goals for Bray for the first time this season, and a 3-1 win over Sligo. Sligo's injury and suspension woes continued, with Paul Cook having just a single outfield player on the bench for the arrival of Derry City. The visitors have been finding their form these days. 13 minutes had passed at the showgrounds when Stephen Gray charged forward and picked out Sammy Morrow at the back post. 1-0 to Derry and a very happy travelling support. As Sligo struggled to find their rhythm, City looked to take further advantage, but Gareth McGlynn found Richard Brush on his game. Kevin Deary was next to expose a shaky defence, despite appearing penned in. He picked out the very open Mark Farron, who had more time and space than he might have realised. Sligo had to wait throughout most of the first half before finally creating something of their own. Rafael Cretero giving Gerard Doherty something to do at last. But they should have been 2 down by half-time. McGlynn did well to hold on to the ball before finding David Scullion, who won't be too pleased with his strike. Sligo found their way in the second half, and Cretaro did look most likely to get them on the score sheet. But it was their opponents who had the ball in the net again. Rory Higgins and McGlynn teeing up Morrow. Brush with the initial save. Gavin Pearce's clearance straight into Scullion, but off his arm, so no goal, despite the striker's protestations. He says it was off his chest. Doesn't really look like it though. The game descended into a bit of madness with less than 20 minutes left. It all started with Jason Nocter's tackle on Clive Delaney and Stephen Gray's reaction to it. A lot of pushing and shoving ensued, leading to consultation between the officials. And just as calm was being restored, red cards were dispatched to both Gray and to Nocter. Derry could have finished off the tie, but McGlynn's great strike was met by an outstanding save. They could smell blood though, so McGlynn and James McLean combined. And this time the Sligo keeper needed a little help from Danny Ventre. The visiting fans knew they had this one wrapped up. 1-0 to Derry City, who are very much back in contention for the title.
We didn't play great tonight, but we battled hard and worked hard for each other, and it's a great 3 points coming down here. Sligo's not an easy place to come, and they made us work for it.
We got beat by Bray on Tuesday night by a hungrier team that worked harder than us. Tonight we never got beat by a hungrier team. You know, we had a good appetite for the game and we worked and we had a great level of commitment, and you know, for that, no problems at all.
It's been a good week, you know, to take 9 points in the week. I couldn't have asked for any more really. You know, so it was a real hard-fought display. You know, it was a hard-fought win. Sligo pushed us all the way and really made it difficult for us.
Colm, Stephen.
Cork and Sligo squads preparing for the FAI Cup clash at Turner's Cross. Matters on the pitch, a welcome respite from the financial affairs that threaten to topple both clubs. The taxman clearly a League of Ireland fan, the Revenue Commissioner is taking a keen interest in Rovers and City in recent weeks, leading to increased levels of anxiety among players and supporters.
We're used to this thing in Cork. I mean, we've had it, I've been following soccer for, 40 odd years at this stage. So I've seen it all coming, I've seen it before, and I'll see it again. So, I mean, no, I'm not terribly worried about it, and I don't think the taxman is desperately stupid anyway, because, a small percentage of something is better than a big percentage of nothing.
About 20 minutes to kick off. Have you the team talk done?
Yeah, all done. I think the lads are well prepared now. I don't really think you have to say too much now at this stage of the game. I think all the prep work's well done, tactics well done, formation, markers. Hopefully they're confident enough to go out and express themselves and do a good job tonight.
And you've enough players this week as well to have a bench.
Contrary to what that M&S show was saying, we've got more than 2 guys. We've got 5 on the bench tonight. So
I think at this stage, Tony, I think the players know it's a tough enough game for us. Sligo are decent enough. I think people probably failed to realise they're in the UEFA Cup this year, which means they finished higher than us last year. So as I say, it'll be a tough game. But I think in the Cup, you can only ask for a home game, and then it's up to yourself after that.
Everyone in this league talks about money. Would Sligo really prefer a draw tonight to get a replay?
No. work that out for yourself.
The FAI Cup was the first trophy Paul Doolan won as a manager, but the Cork boss had key players missing through injury and suspension. Captain Dan Murray was fit though, and as he ran forward, the Sligo defence backed off. When the ball fell to Danny Murphy, his precise cross was met by Shane Duggan for his first goal of the season after 15 minutes. 4 minutes later though, and Sligo were level. Cash to the far post, no checks please, and Rafael Cretero placed it back into the path of Steve Feeney, who squeezed the ball past Dan Connor for the equaliser. 15 minutes later and Cork regained the lead. Confident in possession, a good crossfield move again saw Murphy place the ball invitingly. This time, Dennis Bean got across his marker for an emphatic finish, his 5th of the season. Cork were playing with purpose. Greg O'Halloran pounced on Colin Healy's corner, Richard Brush with the save, and Bocco completing the clearance. Sligo though began to believe, and they looked more likely in the closing stages. Sean Doherty's cross gladly put behind for a corner. And from the set piece, Sligo fashioned a deserved equaliser. Richie Ryan and Brian Cash combining to set up Cretaro. His smart finish decisive, and his overall play made him a worthy Ford Cup man of the match.
I'm delighted with it, to get man of the match, to be involved in the 2 goals as well. Just happy with the lads, and everyone showed great character in the second half, to come back from 1-0 down, 2-1 down, It's just the kind of characters we have in the dressing room at the minute,
I suppose, Paul, you'd be disappointed having gone ahead twice in a game like that to still not win it.
Well, I think, to be fair, we did go ahead twice. But the only thing I would say, Tony, you probably couldn't afford to be disappointed, because I think in the second half they deserved to get a draw. I thought you could see the goal coming. They had a bit of pressure on us, and we were probably chasing again the 2 goal. And to be fair to them, as I said, they deserved a draw.
You don't need to mic you up to hear what you're saying to your players. And at one stage in that second half, you said, "Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Go and be brave."
You go and be brave. To come to Cork, the best players in the world will come here tonight and give the ball away at times. It doesn't matter who you are. The brave ones are the ones who keep trying. And in our group we've got some smashing players. I thought Owen Morrison was the best we've seen him play second half. He come alive, right through the team. I'm so proud of him, Tony. You go away from home and you get cup draws. We'll be without Gavin Pearce Tuesday night and a couple of other Sean Holmes. We might only have 7 or 8 players, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give them a game again Tuesday night.
It's going to be tough going up to there. They're a good side, and they've got good performance in them. But I think we've got a good performance in us as well, especially from away from home, and that's what we're looking to do. We have to go up there and really give it a good go.
Sligo Rovers fans are diehards, Rovers till we die and all that. We're going for 81 years. You won't get much better than that. Rovers supporters, we always get behind our team, and no matter who's playing. As Man says once said, he says, it was 11 monkeys out there, we'd support them. And God knows we had a lot of monkeys in our time.
Gallus squeezing the ball in at the near post. But the prolific Rafael Cretaro equalised for Sligo 5 minutes before half-time with a low finish after latching on to a through ball. Gallus could have sealed it for the visitors at the end of normal time, but Richard Rush made a wonderful save in the Sligo goal. But in the second period of extra time, Cretaro finished a Sean Doherty cross at the far post to delight the home fans. Cork could have snatched an equaliser at the death, but Danny Murphy's penalty was saved by Rush. 2-1 to Sligo, the final score after extra time.
Sligo came into the game with several players injured, including leading goal scorer Rafael Cretaro, while striker Roman Bocco was away on international duty. Indeed, Paul Cook had only 2 substitutes at his disposal. Moses problems for Bohemians, and a Jason McGuinness back in their squad after his 5-match ban. The first half was a rather tepid affair, and it was all Bohemians. Glenn Crowe set up the first chance for Jason Byrne. He skipped inside the defender before releasing a shot, which was saved by Richard Brush. Byrne had an even better chance to put the home side ahead. Crowe again involved, setting up Gary Deegan, who in turn found Byrne. The informed striker made a real hash at the finish. Bohs continued to press. Killian Brennan, this time the supplier for Deegan, whose shot was saved by the Sligo keeper, leaving it 0-0 at the break. In contrast, the second half was a much better affair as Bohs continued to press forward. Byrne got to the edge of the area and passed for Deegan, whose dipping shot just cleared the crossbar. Bohs' frustration at not breaking the deadlock continued as Conor Powell broke down the left before getting into the box, but his ball, which fell to Byrne, was again wasted as he blazed his shot over. However, the Gypsies finally broke the deadlock on 53 minutes. Good initial work by Crowe, sending up Brennan, whose cross was kept in play by Anthony Murphy, and Deegan tapped in his first league goal of the season. Sligo's stubborn resistance finally broken. But despite getting the lead goal, Bohs continued to be profligate in front of goal. A great run by Brennan set up Murphy, who picked out Crowe all alone, but all he could do was lift the ball straight into Richard Brush's hands. This was Sligo's only chance of the whole game. Owen Morrison's free, and Steve Feeney's header was deflected away for a corner. Joseph Indo came on as a second half sub, and he lifted the ball forward for Deegan, who in turn tried to clip it over Alan Keane, who handled in the area. Pretty straightforward decision for referee Alan Kelly, and Byrne finally found the net, his 14th league goal of the season, and a goal which secured the points for Bohemians. Jason McGuinness got a late run from manager Pat Fenlon, who very nearly got himself on the score sheet as his lob just cleared the Sligo crossbar. A 2-0 win for Bohemians, which cemented their place at the top of the league table going into the mid-season break.
I thought they played very well for the team that they put out, but as I say, we had a few harsh words at half time. We stepped a little bit, and I think we showed our class.
I think if we'd have had our 7 players fit, I think we'd have still found it hard here tonight. We got a football lesson from the first minute to the 90th minute. Hopefully you go away and learn from it, but we got beat by a very good football team who played smashing football, cut us apart at will, and thoroughly deserved to win by the couple of goals they did.
Yeah, I'm delighted. Like I said, it's difficult coming off the season we had last year. People's expectations are huge, and that's sometimes weighs on people's shoulders. But we've got to get used to that. But you'd have said to me at the start, we'd be where we are at the break. I'd have been delighted. So that's credit to the players.
Well, the action and the first League of Ireland side into Europe this season was Sligo Rovers. They met the Albanian side Vlažnja at the showgrounds in the first leg of the Europa Cup. Tommy Marin describes the action.
This wasn't quite the return of past European glory days, but the showgrounds had plenty of atmosphere and expectation for Sligo Rovers' Europa Cup tie with Albanian side Vlažnja, with the travelling side bringing a small but vocal band of supporters to the showgrounds. Rovers had most of the possession in the first half, striker Rommel Boko's penetrating runs causing disarray in Vlažnja's defence, defender Bergini booked by Belgian referee Christophe Perrant early on. Although the Albanians spent most of the half defending, they did create one half chance when a speculative long-range shot from Belisha was saved by Rovers keeper Richard Brush. Sligo winger Owen Morrison was causing havoc on the left wing. This cross in the 23rd minute setting up a chance for Cretero, but the striker just failed to connect. Moments later, Cretero was again in the thick of the action. Richie Ryan's through ball to Cretero, then producing a snapshot which hit the back of defender Ozjan before just flying outside the upright. The best chance of the half came just seconds before the break when winger Owen Morrison's cross fell to Boko, who saw his volley cannon off the crossbar, with Cretero unable to get the ball on target from the rebound. The Albanian side hit the front in the 69th minute when Smajdlaj, the Vlažnja fullback, gathered possession in the centre circle before powering forward and unleashing a left-footed strike that flew past Richard Brush. It got even worse for Rovers 6 minutes later, as winger Shotbainas run down the flank, ending with a cross that appeared to be going nowhere, but the Rovers defence failing to get their calls correct, Alan Kane directing the ball past his own keeper to give Vlažnja a 2-goal cushion. For Rovers manager Paul Cook, a case of sit and watch. Rovers threw caution to the wind in the final 10 minutes, and they were handed a lifeline when Badging handled in the area. Rovers awarded a penalty. Keane, anxious to atone for his own goal, stepped up to take the spot kick, but hammered the ball against the crossbar. With just 2 minutes remaining, there was still time for more drama. Valajnia's keeper, Grimage, in a moment of madness, elbowing Richie Ryan, with the referee showing a straight red card and awarding Rovers a second penalty. This time, Cretero stepped up and coolly slotted the ball past substitute keeper Bijnani to keep the tie alive. At the very end, Rovers almost snatched what would have been a deserved equaliser. Conor O'Grady teeing the ball up for Boko, but Bijnani spreading himself well to steer the ball away. In the end, a disappointing night for Rovers on their return to Europe. They have it all to do this Thursday night in that return leg in Albania. It finished Sligo Rovers 1, Valajnia 2.
Sligo Rovers were hoping to bounce back from their disappointing European defeat to Albanian side KS Valajnia last week. Paul Cook's side faced Drogheda United at the showgrounds on Sunday night, and they made a strong start. Owen Morrison's long-range shot hitting the crossbar inside a minute. Drogheda's poor start to the season meant they were 2 points behind the home side going into this match, and Paul Crowley went close to an opener with a half volley soon after. Sligo looked like they'd won a penalty when Romuald Boko went down near the box. But referee Richie Winter soon changed his mind after consultation with his linesman. And the resulting free kick was easily dealt with by the Drogheda defence. Robbie Martin was causing all sorts of problems in the Sligo back four. The shot, though, with just too much on it this time. But Drogheda were in front soon after. Martin providing a beautiful through ball. Shane Barrett with a powerful finish. Sligo were level 15 minutes later. Cretero with a great touch from Boko's pass. Paul Skinner with no chance in the Drogheda goal. Rovers took the lead 7 minutes before the break. Boko again the provider. Captain O'Grady rising highest to head home into the corner. But the visitors got back on level terms on the stroke of half time. Paul Crowley fouled to inside the area. Danny Keown picked up a yellow card for the challenge. And to the crowd's delight, Barrett made no mistake from the spot kick. Sligo went in search of a third after the break and managed to create loads of chances. O'Grady's shot lacking power on this occasion. And Skinner had to be at his very best to stop another long-range pot from Morrison soon after. It was all Rovers at this stage. Cretero should have added to his first half goal here, but the shot was well over. Drogheda's best chance for a winner fell to Brian King. The cross from the left-hand side, but the header was straight at Brush. Rovers substitute Chris Kelly created an opportunity for Cretero to nick it, but the striker's shot was blocked. And then O'Grady's follow-up was easily dealt with. And the last chance once again fell to Cretero, but again a shot off target. So a draw and a share of the points after 90 minutes. Sligo must feel they should have won it though. 2-all final score.
We've given away 2 sloppy goals again. It's cost us. You know, it's caused when I started the season. You know, we give sloppy goals away, and you know everyone, and it's, you know, we all feel it's kind of 2 points drop for us tonight.
It's 5 games unbeaten in the league. We've got a good return of points in this series of games. We keep edging away from teams around us, and ideally we would have liked to jump over Sligo, but we've put a little bit more distance between ourselves and the side behind us now, and we'll just look up to the next game, which is against Derry next week.
You don't want to be overcritical on your players. It's something that I've never been, something I'm not going to start doing. Do you know, but we've been very loyal to players at this club for a couple of years now, and maybe it's time for a little bit of change, maybe.